Dishonored is just a classic story of boy meets girl. Girl is a queen, boy is a servant of the queen. Queen is attacked to get control of the throne through controlling her bastard daughter and assassinated by time-altering teleporting magicians granted magical powers by an immortal goth kid who controls the worlds from the shadows. And it's my favorite game. From the stellar gameplay to the amazing map and world design, it always makes me its bitch, stopping me from talking to loved ones and friends in order to play as Dowd for the 100th time. Because let's face it, Dowd is a handsome motherfucker, and that DLC's a fucking bomb. But aside from that hunk of a man, you have the star of the show, Corvo Attano, a man whose life will be determined by your fucked up playthrough and unwillingness to let anyone you see have a pulse after you're gone. You start as a washed up loser doing nothing to help the kingdom, and coming back from a mission to get the neighboring kingdoms to help with your shithole's rat problem, which was really just an excuse for you and the boys to sit back on the shores of the Caribbean knocking back Ronas, leaving Corvo to do some master work trying to cover his ass.
Sorry, no wet posing. Corvo.
You get back and make your way up to the queen to deliver the bad news, but before she can scorn you for your bad penmanship, assassins luckily attack, turning her into a shish kebab, and taking away the weird kid, who may just like playing hide and seek with old men a little too much. Leaving you next to the body as a bald-headed rat comes forward, spotting you trying to take back the $20 she owed you, and convinces all those around you that you are the perpetrator of the shish kebabilation. All of this leading poor little Corvo waiting on the chopping block inside of a one-room suite with a nice view, until you were freed by the Loyalist Conspiracy, a bunch of chill dudes with bad attitudes and a heavy tendency to commit fratricide. After your amazing escape, killing all the minimum wage guards in your way, who didn't really care in the first place, you get picked up by him, the man, the myth, and my personal hero, Samuel Beechworth, who you will learn to love as he condescendingly explains to you why you are worthless and he is the Chad of this universe. And to be honest, he's right. We all knew it, and we have since the second we put our eyes on him. After finding your way to your new home that is not that big of an upgrade from the prison you were in earlier, you take a quick power nap to find that Mr. Black Darkness 666 has given you his blessing to do with as you wish. After your nap, you go on a 20-minute long boat ride with God in the morning to head towards the home of your first target. And here's where the game truly starts to open up with what you can do. I cannot tell you what for sure makes this game so great that I keep coming back to it. It could be the amazing world that you can explore, the dumb stuff it lets you do in combat, or maybe it's just my PC is too shit to run anything else. But the fact that you can teleport around, behead someone, and then proceed to use that head to knock someone down into the water, or stop time when an enemy shoots a bullet and drag an explosive into the way of their bullet to kill them and anyone around, or possess them to walk through a gate that would normally incinerate you and then drop them off an edge. And you can even use that possessing ability to take control of somebody you have to kidnap later on in the game and bring them to the exit point. All of this, to me, just shows the amazing freedom you have to do whatever you want with the tools at hand. But, in the end, no matter what cool shit you pull off, some speedrunner or some random fucker on the internet will pull off some shit 20 times cooler than you ever could, and you will go home, and you will weep. And every decision you make leads to the world around you changing in slight ways, even changing dialogue. But to be honest, if you're playing, there's only one decision you have to make. Play as Mother Teresa or Daddy Genghis Khan, because there's no in between. We all know what path you took because you couldn't resist time stopping and playing the fucking weeb.
貴様の拳などかほどにも効かんわい。お前はもう死んでいる。何？もうは匠できれぶ。
But to be quite honest, I don't know if saying that the other route is being Teresa is quite honest. Because the alternative to killing some of the main enemies include marking a man with a brand that will see him become a plague-infected outcast doomed to suffer, having gang members cut out their tongues and ship them off to a mine to work to death, or shipping one off to go live with a crazed stalker as a captive. But to be honest, I'm sure Mama T would approve. Also, try not to feel too bad thinking you're hogging all the fun. Many characters in this world have the same powers that you do, some of which I have no fucking clue why they have them. One little buddy that found himself with powers is the aforementioned character Dowd, who used those powers to become a world-renowned stealth assassin, which honestly just means he's kinda shit at his job. And he is one of the cuties who actually killed the queen, and you meet up with him later on down the line, where you two have a nice little chat after he and his boys pick you up from last night's bender, then tries to kill you, which he manages to fuck up in your inebriated state, and then blah 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 blah. And then you two have a fucking epic bullet time battle, and you are given the chance to spare him, and... oh fuck, my finger slipped. On your way through this magical quest of wonder and fun, another person you may come across is an interesting little character who has also met up at Hot Topic with Goth Daddy, named Granny Rags, a decrepit old woman who loves to give good little boys and girls she comes across gifts, like a batshit insane Santa with mystical dead whale pieces. One character that has received her gifts, though, which I find to be a bit of fun lore, is the executioner from Coleridge Prison, a no-joke inbred sociopath who cannot speak, and who Granny Rags gave fucking superpowers for whatever reason. To be honest, she doesn't make sense most of the time. One little chore she has for you along the way is to fucking poison what is probably a fourth of the population of the city, so that you can get that one talent point you need to jump higher. Which, funnily enough, does not affect your ending, because we all know that as long as you didn't do the killing yourself, you didn't do anything wrong. That's why Hitler and Stalin are knocking back brews in heaven. And there are many more side events to take part in, some of which are smaller, but in my opinion, they're certainly worth doing, especially if you want a deeper look into the lore and the amazing character connections that are scattered around the maps. And the maps themselves are treasures, wide expanses that you can explore again and again and always find something new, kind of like your mom. But for real, the world is something to be cherished. The amount of detail that goes into each part of the game is extraordinary. In the very first level alone, the amount of choice you have is directly related to how the map is built. You can fight or sneak through the front gates, working your way over it or directly through it. You can go to a side path, meet Granny Rags, and move past the optional side quests and over top buildings to find your way to the other side of the map, where there are multiple buildings to be explored to find lore and loot. And then you can make your way through another gate that can be snuck by, and it leads to another path that you have many different ways to go through, and that's before you get to the main area where your target is. Once you are actually in there, you can sneak through the side, the front, or even by going underground through dog kennels, which all have multiple ways to push through and worm your way in, once again, like your mom. Even with all that, I feel like there's so much more to be said about the game, but I don't want to spoil the experience too much for anybody who might want to play it. And I've sunk over 150 hours into this single player game, and I'll probably find myself putting in many, many more. So you know I say this with a loving heart. I give the game a 4 out of 10. Too much water, not enough Samuel. But overall, it's almost half as good as Raid Shadow Legends. But on a more real note, I cannot recommend the game enough. And you can probably get it at a Steam sale for like $1-2. And if you really don't want to wait that long and you really don't want to fork over the $10, you can probably risk it and pick it up off G2A for like $4. And fuck it. If you don't have the game, hit me up in the comments, and the first person to comment down there asking for it, I will buy them a copy. So if it's like 2 days after this came out, don't fucking bother commenting down there. I'm sure one of my asshat friends will get to it before you do. And I hope whoever gets it loves it as much as I do. Just a quick little note for the end of this. I will only be buying a Steam copy of the game, and I'm sorry to any console users that were thinking they were about to get a free game. But a special thanks to my friend Mike for providing the clip that you are currently watching right now. It's fucking beautiful, isn't it? Ah, such a man.